think was going through Lucius's mind during the final battle?
I just think he sees no future for himself. He's living in denial. He knows there's no place for him next to Voldemort in the future. He knows clearly he's not going to have a place in the world if Harry wins. It looks like there's no place for him next to Narcissa. He's obviously prepared to sacrifice Draco. He's a very, very, very lonely man, and he thoroughly deserves to be.
Do you think he's going to end up on the good side? It was sort of left ambiguous at the end. Do you think he deserves it?
I don't think he deserves anything. He's a completely odious man. I can say that now, I'm no longer playing him. He deserves all the terrible things that come his way, and much worse too.
Was there any point at which you felt sympathy for him?
Yeah, I do. Yeah. I feel sympathy when I play him. He's a man full of terror. He's fear. He's frightened of the future. He's frightened of muggles. He's frightened of being exposed for the narcissist that he is and the child that he is. I mean, all that hatred and bigotry and racism is based on fear and ignorance. And he just wants to hold on to how things were, but you can't hold on to how things were. And in fact, they were never that good to start with. It was just in the world that he came from, he ruled the roost. And you watch that power being dragged away from him. And it's a very satisfying thing for us, the audience. But it's not very nice for him, and it was painful to do.
Did it just turn out where you expected from when you started?
No, absolutely not. He started out as this unbelievably arrogant, racist pig. And then very slowly, everything that he thought made him who he was stripped away from him. Voldemort came back and saw right through his rampant egomania. And then eventually, the most glorious thing happened, which is his son, who he thinks is the one thing that he's managed to hold complete power and dominion over, breaks the bonds, breaks those awful chains, and becomes the fine young man that, Draco makes some very bold and noble choices for him in this story. And I find that really inspiring.
But doesn't he show some signs of love at the end for Draco?
Have you seen the film? I don't know so much love. I mean, it's true I think that somewhere deep down there is a core of being a parent ultimately overrides all the rest of his selfish desires, which in a way I suppose goes to redeem him, but only partly.
Okay, we're just going to do
What's your favourite scene from this newest film?
Well, I'm not in it. I just love the battle. I think you've been waiting for it for 10 years. We've been waiting for 7 books. From the first time Voldemort's name is mentioned, we all know, because we all know what great classic stories are, that at some point Harry's going to have to face off with Tom, and it's going to be a battle to the death. And it's been a long time coming, and I think they really play it off beautifully.
Hey, this film had a more serious tone. Did you guys miss the more comic moments?
Yes and no, I'd say.
I suppose it was nice to be able to play the same characters but play them in a serious manner. But yeah, it was a bit hard not having a good laugh in a few of the scenes.
What was the last scene you filmed? Did it offer you any closure, guys? Or?
I guess it offered me closure,
Yeah.
but it was the final scene is always pretty dramatic, especially when you've been doing it for 10 years. And I wasn't actually thinking about it being over until today, and now it's getting a bit. So yeah.
It was a cool scene to be able to shoot there.
If you could take one thing from Weasley's Wizard Weasels, what would you take?
I'd probably take one of the Skyrim snack boxes and see what I could do with it. See what trouble could be caused.
I'll take a portkey because it took me 45 minutes to cover a quarter of a mile in a car in London. So yeah, a portkey, I think. Definitely.
Rupert, what was Ron's greatest moment throughout the series?
his greatest moment. Yeah, I mean, I think his last few films, I think from 6, I think he had a good time. I mean, he finally got to be on the Quidditch team, which I think was a big goal of his. And I mean, yeah, in this one, I think getting the girl, getting Hermione, that was kind of, yeah, a really nice moment for Ron.
What has been one of your favorite off-screen moments while making the films?
I don't know, I mean, these things are always quite amazing. I mean, this is just beyond anything I could have imagined. I mean, it's just people everywhere. I can't even recognise Trafalgar Square. It's just so many people, and it's quite emotional because it is the last one, and it is going to be quite sad. But just making the most of it and enjoying it.
In the first part, we obviously see Ron leave and then come back. How do you think he's changed after he comes back to his friends?
Yeah, I think the time where he was gone, I think he learnt a lot, I think, and we see a completely different Ron really in part 2. He's not so doubtful and paranoid and I suppose selfish. He's much more kind of focused and just there for Harry, and there's a lot of kind of emotional things that Ron has to kind of go through, falling in love, losing his brother, and yeah, it's a good one.
What type of advice do you think older Neville would give to the Neville from the first year?
From the first year, geez. I guess he just would have said, stick by your friends, you're going to need them. He would have said, keep doing what you're doing, because I think Neville always stayed pure, he always stayed so courageous, and he might have been absolutely terrified, but he knew it was the right thing to do, and he always tried to do that. And I think older Neville would have just said, relax, take it easy, and watch out for your friends.
Did Neville's story turn out the way you expected from the very start?
Not from the very start, no. I never anticipated that Neville would go on to do what he did in this last movie. I knew there was something about him. I knew there was something more. He was in Gryffindor for a reason, but I never thought he'd go on to do. And where is he? He's up on his bucket on one of his posters somewhere with the sword. It's just cool. Is it over there? I just it's fantastic. But I loved it. I loved the ending. I thought it was a beautiful way to finish Neville's story.
What was your favorite scene to film in the film?
In this one, I've got two. I mean, the one that was the most fun was the bridge stuff. There's a scene where Neville. You seen it? I haven't even seen it. You've all seen it. Is it good? Yeah, where Neville has to go and destroy a bridge, and I felt like, I don't know, it's a bit like a bridge too far. I felt like I was in the SAS or something, and it was really cool. And a lot of stunts, working with Nick Moran, special effects department. It was just, it was fantastic. But my other scene was working with Rafe Fiennes, just because, the actor that he is, working on that kind of one-on-one with him, I really had to raise my game, and that kind of challenge was, it's what all actors really want. And I think I came away from that week or those couple of weeks and just thought, bloody hell, that was exhausting, but I loved every minute of it.
Do you have any projects upcoming?
Not a minute. I've just finished a play. I just finished a 6-month tour with Agatha Christie play, and I'm ready to sleep for about 10 days. So I think I'm going to go through all this promotion stuff, maybe take a couple of weeks off in August, and then I've got a few meetings coming up for some other stuff. So fingers crossed, it's going to be a good end to the year.
Anything you can tell us about?
Not yet.
Okay,
Not yet.
What was it like bringing out your inner action hero for the final part of Deathly Hallows 2?
You're doing what?
Bringing out your inner action hero.
Bringing out my inner action. What does that mean?
What you call your
Oh, my inner action hero.
The movie just now, and you were fabulous.
My wand arm. It's much bigger than the other arm because I wand so much with it. But my inner action hero. It was always there. She always was an action hero, Mrs. Weasley, but she was cool. So she just brings the action hero out when she needs to. Okay.
How has it been seeing the trio grow up throughout the films and being there for everything?
It's an utterly unique experience. I can't imagine anything else that would ever happen in apart from a soap opera, and this is very different from that. So it was extraordinary. Yes, it makes you feel very close to them.
Would you like to have had a bigger role in the film since a lot of your character was cut out?
No, I think it's sufficient for whatever they have to do. I mean, I haven't seen the final issue yet, obviously, because it's the first time I'm going to see it. But I was just thrilled to be asked to be in the story at all, because I just got in with the skin of my teeth at the last roundup. No, I mean, I don't know also how much they've left in from the scene I shot. I mean, if it's all in a waste paper bin, I'll be a bit sad. I hope it's not, because that would be a bit of a bummer. But no. I'm just looking forward very much to seeing it, and it was a thrill just to be asked, and to be asked to be Sir Michael Gambon's younger brother was even more of a thrill.
You were in it and you were great.
Oh, have you seen it? Yeah. Oh, you have? Okay, so it works, and I was in it still. Yeah. Okay, that's good.
What was it like coming into such a big series and getting to be a part of it?
Well, it was strange because, of course, I was working with Daniel and Rupert and Emma, and they all knew what their characters over the last 8-9 years. It was me that was making it up and needing all the help I could get, but. No, it was just a great thrill, and also the work I had to do was pretty quiet with them. It wasn't a huge extravaganza with all the stuff going on apparently. So it was just a joy, and it was kind of a secret down in that little hovel I live in. So I was very happy to do it.
You did a great job.
And you got to make some awesome spells as well.
Oh, do I? Well, I threw a few shapes, but I don't know what's the results of them. Are they good?
Very good.
Yay! Fantastic. That'll teach them.
Are there any actors you would have liked to act alongside from the earlier films?
Just about all of them.
All of them?
Just about all of them, but they probably would have made mincemeat of me, because I mean, there's this extraordinary bunch of actors, extraordinary, from Ireland, Scotland, England, Wales. They're just like, and it's just as I said, I was very thrilled to be asked at the last moment to come into it. Yeah. Okay.
Thank you very much.
You're notorious for having some rude jokes on set. Did you have any this time?
No, I've forgotten them all. I'm so overwhelmed by all the millions of people. I can't think of a joke. Tell me one. I can't remember.
Shannon.
That's a joke.
Were you excited to come back for the 7th film to do the scene at King's Cross?
One scene in the 7th film. I liked it very much. Good.
Many children view you as such a fatherly figure. What advice would you have for them?
For what?
Just for the children.
Oh, be good. Don't tell lies.
Do you feel like your one scene was closure, or do you feel like that was the last film you were in? Do you feel like the one scene you had in this film was closure, or do you feel like you already had closure in the series?
No, I think I've got that closure, isn't it? I'm a ghost, dead.
Yeah.
These are fan sites. These are the real hardcore. These are the ones that you're really nice to. Because they know more about it than all the cast do put together. Yeah, beware, they ask tricky questions. I know, please don't ask me any tricky
Quite an easy one. Do you feel like Narcissa redeems herself by the
Yes,
end
I
of
do.
it? Yes.
I think that they're all archetypes, and that Rowling was very, very clever when she wrote this. And you can see it in the Odyssey. You can see it in all great fairy tales. They have these, the main character who's fighting for good, which now in society is a very complex thing to do, and is a very unusual hero to have. And she gives. I'm so fascinated to hear the noise level of hormones when Dan arrives, that every time I hear, I can't help but look to see if he's there. And I think that J.K. Rowling gave her a redeeming feature at the end of actually putting her son's life before her own, but more importantly, to be changed by her son, because I think her opinion is changed by her son, and that's good mothering.
Given how selfless she acts towards her son, do you think she really is a true Slytherin, or does she belong somewhere else?
I think that she's a mother primarily. So she is a Malfoy rather than a Lestrange at the end of the day.
Thank you.
How is it coming into the series and getting to work with all the children, with the trio and all the other actors?
Well, it was interesting because, of course, most of us actually, I didn't know that the younger actors, but of course, Gambon and Helly and everybody, we've all been Rafe, and we've all known each other for years. We've all worked with each other. We all, go to restaurants and stuff. So I was really impressed at the way that they conducted themselves, and their talent and their interest, and it was still sharp and keen. And you didn't feel, because you don't know, you're walking on a set with people who've been doing it for a very long time, how blasé they would be. And all I can say is not a moment that they're blasé. So it was a privilege.
Was there any scenes that got cut that just couldn't be fitted in, but you'd love to have seen them included?
Actually, I think not. Boringly, what we did, but by making the 7th book into 2 films, we found the space. Sometimes things had to be compressed a little, just for the sake of the flow of the narrative. But I think we kept everything in, and it's why we made 2 films. It's why Joe was happy we made 2 films.
Over the years, has it been difficult to condense so many books into short 2.5-hour films?
It really has. I mean, since the 4th book, we've looked at the possibility of making 2 films because they're big, thick, weighty books. But when we analysed them for 4, 5 and 6, there was plenty of colour and character, easily enough for 2 films, but there wasn't really enough for 2. There was more than enough for one story for one film, but not enough for 2, and so we had to compress that story into a single film and lose some of the lovely character and colour.
Do you see this film as the second part to part 1, or the closing part of the whole series? I mean, can they be both?
It's both. I think the end started with the 6th film, when we started to learn about the Horcruxes, and Dumbledore was preparing Harry for the job ahead of him. And so I think the end isn't just 7 part 1 and part 2, or 7 part 2. I think it began a while ago, and so it is an end to the series.
Is it possible that Draco is just the coolest character in the series?
He's the what, sorry?
The coolest.
Oh, undoubtedly. I see there being no competition, really. No, he's a very deliciously horrible guy, and he's great fun to play, so I miss him already, for sure.
Draco's character ended up doing some noble and very wonderful things in this film. How do you feel that as a transition?
Yeah, I mean, he feels a bit stronger about it than I do. Draco definitely has a tricky time in his last couple of years of school. And they're very indecisive moments for him, and hopefully we see that in this last film. We don't really know which side of the fence he wants to be on.
What has been your fondest memory of throughout the entire series?
It's very hard to pick one, lovely, to be honest with you, but just all the friends that we've made, and all the friends for life, really, that I've met through doing it.
How fun is it playing a bad guy?
It's much more fun than playing a good guy. Yeah, it's been a lot of fun. Also, in this film, I turn up with an army, and I've never done that before. So, yeah, everyone's wanted it when I come back with an army and sort this all out, and yeah, I got to do that, which is a lot of fun.
Do you do as much running in this film as you did in the last?
There's a fair bit of running. There's also a fair bit of falling, which is well, I don't know. There's a lot of falling over. The fact of the matter is, I was wearing a pair of I had Gary Oldman's old boots from as Sirius Black that I nicked with my costume, and they're really bad at running in. They're actually from All Saints, and they've got zips in them, and then you slip all over the place and fall over a lot. So yeah, they're not perfect for the stunt work, but there was a bit of falling over. There was as much falling over as there was running along.
Any injuries?
Yeah, good God, yeah. Yeah, it's quite a big one actually. The bridge collapsed at the wrong time, and yeah, we were quite lucky. There was a few, but that's sort of par for the course in a film like this. There's a lot of stunts in there. You're always prone to a few accidents. So yeah, there were a few, but they were a really good team. So everything got sorted out very quickly.
What did you think of your costume for the film?
It was all my idea. All my idea to look like a cross between Adamant, Paul King, for those of you who can remember him, and maybe a bit of Kasabian thrown in there as well. That was the plan. Worked like a treat.
It worked. It worked.
Thanks very much. Cheers.
Good fun.
How much fun was it filming the big fight scenes at the end?
Well, I didn't have to do a great deal of fighting, and a lot of my stunt days are behind me now, I have to say.
Would you like to have done more?
Yes, but you can't have everything.
That Voldemort's character has changed, obviously gotten stronger, but do you think there's much kind of an arc to his story?
Yeah, I do. Yes, I do.
What kind of changes?
Well, he gets actually, as he gets close to victory, he actually gets weaker in this.
What was your favourite part of playing Voldemort?
The first scene in the graveyard, the re-entrance.
Do you think he deserves any sort of redemption?
Of course. In the sequel. Yeah, he comes back. Thanks. Thanks.